and thank you very much for joining on Sunday evening. That too, that is like a holy evening, and the interesting match going on TV. And that time you are joining. So special thanks to all of you for joining today. Like this is Sunday evening. It's anyway special of the weekend. So thanks again, and I hope everyone joined. So let's start with our today's topic, adult learning, basically adult learning principle. So in that, today's agenda is about we are talking about adult learning, and we will start with obviously why we are adult learning is important. I'd like to go in little depth about why. Then origin and history will just touch the origin and history part. Then the core part, the adult principle, and then motivation. But we are all are directly or indirectly anyway in the motivation business or self-help business. But this motivation is again in context with adult learning. Then in detail, we will discuss about things to keep in mind while having webinars or creating podcast, anything which is going towards especially aged audience. And then learning methods, learning exchanges, and delivery skills, all in context of adult learning. Okay. So I will go with why. Okay. So why it is important? Because general perception is adult learning is common for all. Means like whether it is like 10-year-old kid or 20s teenagers or like 30s 35 year person. But there are there are a lot of things behind that. We need to consider few things while designing our content, if it is like for youth or kids or for the aged people. So there are a lot of reasons behind that, which are like a few years before they started learning about that. Like there should be, because all our educational institutes or educational theories are developed for these kind of people. Means mostly for the children's or kids or for school only, or for youth. That's it, not more than that. So that was a kind of a limitation we always had. But few people started recognizing that, and they started applying new theories around that. So I would like to ask few questions to you regarding I like your views on what is learning. Anyone can just explain?
For me, it is upgrading yourself.
Yeah, it is curiosity to explore, I think, learning.
Okay. Anything else?
For me, it is an addition of skills or knowledge.
Yes, acquiring new skills, new knowledge, something which we don't know already, and trying to get into the new perspectives. Okay, so yeah, there might be learning. What is learning is quite a big question. There might be many answers to that. Next question might be, what is science behind learning? Again, I like to hear some answers. Your opinion.
Structured way of learning?
According to me, to evolve as a human.
Self-actualization. Okay. For me, it is self-actualization.
Okay. Okay, so science, we are talking means science of about learning. There is a lot of, obviously it is a brain activity. So with the next, I like to go with how brain takes learning as. There might be some information we go through, or we listen or hear some information. We process it in our mind, and we try to evaluate that part, whatever the knowledge we are acquiring. So that is basic thing, means like what brain do with learning when it is fed with information. So that is in general what is a learning as a science, means like science behind the learning. I like to go little further, means like deeper into that. So cognition. Cognition is again now, I don't know, is it a perfectly science word, or it is because I know this from the like a spirituality point of view. So cognition is like just act of seeing. Like suppose I'm seeing one rose, just watching it is like means like act of seeing is cognition. Okay. And like literally it is a science, in terms of science, the rays from the rose come to my eyes, and it makes some image into my brain. That is cognition. That's it, means like act of seeing. After that, like recognition is like my brain starts like having some, applying some memory, the information it already has, it applies to that image which created through eyes. And it like uh, it gives the recognition, that is, this is flower and this is a rose, and that might be the colors and all that comes into the picture. But we are just trying to give example, so we'll just go with the rose thing. So it is recognition in the brain. And then valuation. So valuation is like sometimes we feel good about like after seeing the rose, there might be some experiences with the rose in the past, so we try to evaluate that, means like evaluation happens in the brain, which says like if there is a good experience with in the past, we will feel happy. And suppose someone has a bad experience with the rose in the past or in the memory, it will be applied to that recognition, and the valuation will happen, and it will be like some like a bad mood or something like that. So why I'm explaining means like basically this happens in very fast, means like you won't even recognize. This happens on the like a subconscious level almost. So this is same as like how we learn. So there is a information, we process it, and we evaluate it. So cognition, recognition, and valuation. So again, why I'm explaining this, because information, gathering information or cognition is common to all. All means all human beings. It's like even for the animals, seeing the things and making the image of it into the brain is common to all. The game starts from the next activities, processing. So here there is like for kids, it is almost like kids or the even the early teenagers. It's like a clean slate for them, most of the things. So when they process the things, there is no more complication. They process it very simply. But if it is in adults, like say 40 years adult or more than that, they apply a lot of memories, lot of connections with that, lot of emotions also, there's logic with that, and that way it goes little complicated. And obviously evaluation, again we more complicate the things. Kids or the like teenagers may not complicate it or never apply the logic to it, but that happens with the adults basically. So here comes the brain part. Like if we try to like divide the people, obviously in processing part or processing information part, there might be like it will be again everyone process it differently. But like how brain works. So like our frontal part, which is the as a few days back. Apurva took some parenting related webinar. In that, she told us about like our frontal cortex, which get developed after 25 years. That comes into the picture. So logical thinking, and there are a lot of things like decision making or the focusing on one particular thing, that comes with the frontal cortex, which is not developed into the kids till 20 years age or 25 years age. So that comes into the picture here, and that way we can divide the audience, the people gathering the information. Like few will apply their logic, which are adults, and some will not apply their logic. So here the part of adult learning come into the picture. So maybe Apurva can give some more information because she is expert in this thing. So Apurva, are you there?
Yes, Rahul.
So we want to learn
Sure.
more from you on this.
Okay. So I'll just quickly share with you about this prefrontal cortex. So
Yeah.
if you imagine this is the brain, right?
Yeah,
And when you open this part, this is the prefrontal cortex, which is situated in the frontal lobe. Now, when we open this is the limbic system. This you can see, this is the limbic system where the amygdala, which is an emotional brain, right?
Yes.
Emotional brain is situated. And so that's when, this prefrontal cortex, it starts developing at the age of 12. Okay.
Yeah.
It starts developing in the course of evolution. We know that, this is the last brain structure to be developed. And it accomplishes and matures completely at the age of 25. So
Yeah.
that's about the brain part. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So thanks
you,
for that in knowledge. So basically, in nutshell, our brain develops fully at the end of age of 25, around that time. So definitely there should be some differentiation while development. If you are giving some information, if you are learning, there should be some different kind of content or style of learning or style of teaching, you can say. And after once it is get developed, there should be some different way of teaching. So that is you can say the why part of adult learning. This is the main reason or science behind that. So there should be the proper activity. So next part is like origin. So another thing is why basically our learning part or the teaching part started way back, guru shishya parampara, all know about that. So in that also it was like that only. See, there was a guru, the divine person who have lot of knowledge, and their shishya, which have very less knowledge or almost immature students for them. So it was always like a one-way communication for them, and like that way only it used to happen. So like Malcolm Knowles introduced this philosophy about adult learning. He thought like there should be the differentiation, that just it should not be just students oriented, because students are generally passive recipients. They do not react, or they do not have enough knowledge to give feedbacks or ask right questions. And that's why Malcolm introduced the pedagogy, pedagogy, and he started like giving the differentiation. He introduced another term for the adult learning. Pedagogy is basically art and science of teaching to children, and that was like, before that it was like always dominated educational industry or in theory. And I will say it is still a dominating. It is like still like means like education is like one-way communication in most of the places. But we will go to the next slide, and like we will try to give, like to give you the difference between like pedagogy and andragogy. So basically pedagogy is current, which we all know, is children's learning process, where there is a one teacher who have a lot of knowledge about that particular subject, and there are recipients like children or kids or like even teenagers. So, and in Androgogy, it is little different. There might be mature recipients or the learners, and they will like have the almost equal kind of maturity at least, and then they will share the information, and it should be the like more than two-way communication, or at least two-way communication should be there. So that is the part of Androgogy and Pedagogy. So in Androgogy, I like to means like what is exactly Androgogy. So this way, the way we seen the like a science part. So educational psychologists recognize that there should be the separate theory for the adult learning, and that is the birth of, you can say, Androgogy. So yeah, that is part of like a history or origin of the adult learning. So now principles. This is the like a core part of our today's webinar. So what are the principles? So that should be the goal oriented. First thing, practical means like whatever learning or whatever our content is should be the goal oriented. Is there any questions? Okay, just a minute. So the principles are the basically the content or your teaching should be goal oriented. It should be practical. There should be practical examples or some practicals should be there. Relevant. Relevance is one of the important part. It should be self-directed. There should be some experience into that, and task oriented. So we will go through all of them. So goal oriented, yeah, it is very simple. It's like suppose we are going through some like say time management. Suppose there is a webinar about time management, and just a minute. Okay. Yeah. So it should be like a time management. We should give the perfect idea to especially to adults, what we are going to get at the end of webinar. You are going to learn about these things, certain things, or we will learn about the history or the whatever the outcomes. So you should give the clear idea to especially to adults. Then it should be the practical thing. There should be some practical knowledge or practical experiments into the content. Relevance is very, very important for the especially for adults. They want something relatable information. Means like you should not go to them with the very like ad hoc information. There should be some relevance to their current profession or whatever they're going through life or whatever they're trying to learn through life. They will not accept which are not area of interest. Suppose someone is not into like finance related things, he don't like that, he will not accept any information related to that. He will stay away from that. So whatever their areas of interest, then that only should become to them. Self-directed, yeah, they like to keep the control of like what to do, when to do. Suppose we are giving some exercises kind of things, so it should be like in their hands. Instead of like to kids, we can give each and everything like micromanagement kind of thing. Micromanagement will not work with the adults. You should give them some free hand also. Instead, we can keep the control of the bigger picture, but small task or some major tasks they can do on their own. And the experience, yes. So suppose there might be, we are taking one webinar about, say, meditation. So obviously meditation is a lot of part of experience only. But like suppose physical exercise we are giving them. So showing them physical exercise is not enough. It is like you make them do the thing. Suppose that physical exercise or meditation. If they themselves experience the calmness or the in case of physical exercise, that strength that will stay with them for longer. So that is part of experience. And it should be task oriented. Suppose what is the means like suppose physical exercise, what is and like we are doing for the like our core, or we are doing for our chest or arms, whatever it is. So it should be like very you should give them the very minute details, or in case of meditation for your stress relieving. So we should give them like a task into that, and that way you should deliver to them. And it should be problem centered. Means like if they are facing some problem, then only they will come. Basically, that is the idea. When adults will go for any learning or any knowledge gaining, there might be some problem related to that. Maybe in subconscious level, sometimes cautious level, and then only they will go. In case of like kids or teenagers, it will be like they are just forced to. आपको ये पढ़ना है तो पढ़ना है. They do not give like more thought to that. But with the adults, if they have some problem, they want to grow into their business, into their career, then only they will come to some learning part. And intrinsic motivation, that is one of the important part. It is not just another motivation. Intrinsic motivation is like about motivation without any reward or any external influence. That is intrinsic motivation. We will see it in next in next slide. But before that, this main part, core part of adult learning principle, we can go with like suppose one of the example, like a case study kind of thing. So suppose like few days back, some lady came with some problem in this group only. Is that correct? I forgot to verify that thing. Like her husband is in debt and she is in stress, or her husband is more in stress. Is that in
Yes,
same?
yes.
Okay.
That's Ragini.
Okay, Ragini. Yeah, sorry, I forgot to verify that thing. So I'm just confirming. So let's take that as a example, and we are conducting one webinar for like this kind of problems, or this kind of people who have who are going through this kind of problems, stress related problems. So, and we are preparing content according to that. Okay, we have something and we are preparing to special that case. So it should be goal oriented. So at the end of webinar or your course or whatever it is, what outcome we will take it. So like they will feel more stress free and better control of life or something like that. We should give them the clear idea of goals, what we are trying to do. It should be practical. Yes, this is one of the important part. Like there should be some practical solution to their problem. Again, we are coming with like she have some problem, and that around that we are suppose we know the audience. It will be not just one person. There might be similar few people. So we know the problem. So we are giving some practical solutions. Like I think she clearly mentioned about the amount of debt. So that is big, huge debt. So how to reduce that debt? Obviously, I know she or her family, definitely thought about that, but some like a tangible solution, like reducing debt by this amount in this time. And for that, there might be some assistance. Maybe they thought about that, but there might be no assistance for that. So we can suggest some practical solution with some assistance. So that will be the better, you can say, the means like giving the proper solution or giving the proper like learning for them. Apart from that, it should be relevant. We cannot talk haphazardly or something like very vague examples like somewhere in America this happened and all those things. It should be related to their area. Suppose they are in business and you are giving some examples about the job related, so that will not relevant. Give them the relevant examples or relevant information. Self-direct and let them do that. Like self-directed and experience, I like to combine in this case. Like let them do most of the things in that perspective, like reducing debt, again the mindfulness and all the exercises. The reason behind that is if you do someone, or like as I suggested in giving assistance, if everything is doing someone for them, then they might not experience and they can come to same level again. That might be the case. So self-directed and experience is very important in that case. So they can do their own task and then they will understand the main thing is like they will not do the same mistake again. And task oriented, yes, one by one they need to work on the task of reducing debt, then doing some meditation exercises in the morning and in the evening, something like that, and mindfulness throughout the day, something like that. So this is just a case study. So I like to hear some opinions of from you, because we are familiar with that case, and these are my thoughts about these points or adult learning principle. So your opinion on that, what will be the, is it a right thing to do, or whether the example is right, or your thoughts on this? It's like goal oriented should be like this. Yes.
Completely agree.
Okay.
Yeah, me too. Those 2 points, right? Self-direction and experience. Those are the key to, actually learn and evolve as a human. So bang
Yeah.
on.
Okay, that's good. Means like that is how means we can make a case study or like give very practical or personalized experience to your audience, especially when they are audience. They can especially when they are adults, when they can gauge the like things, means like whether there is relevance, or the whether they can gauge the experience whether it is related or not. So this is like about adult learning principles. So I just tried to give the one case study around that, and I value your opinion definitely. Okay, so in that we talked about intrinsic motivation. So this is little different than normal motivation, because like adults may have at certain stage of their life, they have their like maybe they have their success, whatever they wanted, the good family, control and all those things. They have money, that might be the motivation for many youth. But the adults might have already have money, success maybe, but still they need some few more things like social relationships. So they might be busy with their career, their business. So while with learning, they get some social relationships, some friendships, some like hangouts with right people, like-minded people. So that can be achieved through these adult learning. Then personalized advancement. Why the adults come to this kind of webinar or knowledge sharing or learning? It's like they want to go higher into their career, means like from one level up, like that, some personal advancement, or they want to start another business or the similar business in another area, something like that. So that's why they will come, or they want to, they have their offline business, now they want to go online. So that that is like a business growth. So in that case also they will come to you, or for some learnings. So that is their motivation. So we need to consider that things. Sometimes it is just escape and stimulation, means like they want to go out from the normal life, the routine life, and they want to escape from that and want some different experience. And that might be the motivation to join your webinar or your course. So we need to consider that also, what they are currently doing and what we are like offering to them. And in that, like suppose means like we should give them something different, means like what they are currently doing. Suppose like next Sunday I will offer one webinar on discipline in life, and I will ask Colonel to join me in this webinar. He will not accept. I'm Colonel. I know the discipline of life. Instead of joining you, paying you 99, you pay me 9.99 to join your program, because I'm always do that thing. So nothing nothing new for me. So sometimes it is just escape and from the routine life, and that will unique to adults, you can say. It is not like to students or the young generation. It is, they don't want to escape from anything anyway. And next part is cognitive interest. It is like many times like curiosity is not limited to kids only. It is many times you will feel more curious to many things in life, means like suppose learning trading, or means like share trading on all those things, it at adult age also. So sometimes it is that part of motivation to join the program. Like suppose you are here for adult learning, that might be like some curiosity, what is exactly the adult learning. So these are the things which are mainly related to adults. So we need to satisfy these kind of things through our webinar or your content. So that this is motivation part. Yes, this is another important part about things to keep in mind. So again, I cannot see the chats. There might be. Yes, we are here because of curiosity. Yes, and that is, if you offer something like complex subject to like kids, they will not join. They will say, keep us with our studies, that is enough for us. So that is the part with the adults and the kids basically. So yes, things to keep in mind. This is very important point, and this is applied only to the adults while teaching with adults, because acknowledge what they know. Like already, first thing is don't ignore what they already know. That is like a source for us. It's like we can use that knowledge to spread across the audience, and that way they also, the person who we are taking the information feels fulfilled about his knowledge. And like we can create, there might be one person who is having some knowledge, or there might be many people having some knowledge. We can use that, we can create some activities around their knowledge base. That is very satisfying thing for the participants. Like provide them the quality, well organized and differentiated experience, not just like routine experiences. Give them the quality content or quality like stuff, and well organized. Give them the clear idea when we are starting, when we are ending, and all those things. So they will feel more like satisfying. There might be some like means like if we keep it like loose, it's like the session is going on, we are not giving the perfect idea, that may that way they may feel like not very good about the whole experience. So this is about acknowledging what they know, means like use their knowledge, and that is the best way to go through the means like the course. This we already experienced. They learn through experience. They like to learn from the experience rather than just theory part. They like to learn from the experience. So this is like, and but we should particularly keep this in mind, like while designing our content. So fun learning. Yes, generally adult life is not very fun field. So from our webinars or our courses, we can add the fun to their life. And adding fun is not one of our motivation, but we can add fun in learning, giving them, sharing knowledge with them, and that is that way they can that is best way to retain the knowledge if they are feeling something like fun while learning some activities, or some like even dance sometimes, like in the breaks or something like that. So that will add the fun, and that will they means like retain the knowledge, means like they remember about the webinar, their content and everything. So that is the best way. Yes, that data should be of immediate use, means like we should not give them the like a future in after 10 years you may need this knowledge or something like that. The whatever learning they are getting from this your webinar, it should be like immediate use, either now or maybe next day. That is more preferable with the adults will not accept any knowledge which is not of like of immediate use. They will join your program if they are into it. They are going to use it uh, in immediate effect. They will like to join that kind of stuff which is of like in going on in their current life. And we'll keep the chat here. Yes, in WhatsApp group we do the same thing. Okay, so next one is and this is again part of like a first one, we getting some knowledge from them only. It is easier to accept new things if they come up with it. So we can do like talking about any concept. Let them have a group discussion, the adults especially, because they have their own experiences or their own like ideas. So let them have a group discussion. Let them share what they discuss with, like in the what we do into the breakout rooms. Because of time constraint we cannot do that in this session, but like let them discuss and then collect those points, and then we can add rest of it. If there is something missing, definitely if you are conducting, you are as expert, there might be some pieces left out. So there might be some we need to add something. But if they are coming with suppose 7 points out of 10 and we are just adding 3 points, they will feel more satisfying, because and they will know the content is very genuine because the content came from them. So that is very satisfying and like encouraging activity for them. And that way they will accept the facts, or whatever the knowledge you are sharing, they will accept it easily, because again that came from them. And the last one is self choice and self direction. So build your content like means like content around their needs, or like their goals, whatever goals they have, like you can imagine, or you can take some inputs from them in advance before your webinar, or before your podcast or whatever it is. So you can take some inputs from them and you can design your content or your program around that. And this is very important in terms of adults basically. For kids, it is very important to keep it uniform. Means like whatever it is, means like for first batch, second batch, it should be the uniform. But with adult, we can do this. Like we can make it little personalized. So that is important with adult learning. We can share your agenda in advance, like whatever you are trying to do, whatever you are going to offer, we can share it in advance. Okay, so this is like choice, giving them the choice, and like they ask them for some like opinions also. That is, if you are asking them some opinions, that will give them like some satisfaction out of your content or your webinars. So these are all these things, just summary of things to keep in mind. Acknowledge what they know, experience, giving them the actual experience, adding fun into the learning. If it is means it is always possible, even with meditation or the like a finance related subject, you can add the fun part, some activities, something which can be different from their day-to-day life. Immediate use, they can apply the simple theories which can they apply into the immediate effect. As we discussed just now, it is easier to accept new things. Let them come up with their ideas, through group discussion or directly one-to-one, and directly use those ideas into the webinars. That will be more authenticate for them. And the last one is choice and self-direction. Ask them in advance and design your content around that. So next part is learning. Anyone have any thoughts on these things to keep in mind, or anything to add that will be better? With adults, I like to do this, or I use these techniques or something like that.
I want to ask something.
Yes.
What we are doing right now is the general thing, like one thing which I have got inside my mind is the prefrontal cortex develops by the age of 25.
Yeah.
Right. And by the age of 12, it is developing.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm teaching my students who are between 12 to 15 years of age,
Mm-hmm.
they are able to understand things, whatever I'm telling them, like whatever high level, high order thinking questions I'm making them solve, they're able
Mm-hmm.
to understand. But children who are below the age of 12 are
Mm-hmm.
also able to understand. This is what I have observed, because seventh and eighth standard students are
Mm-hmm.
also able to understand. So I think we can't generalization is one thing, and I think there are exceptional cases also.
Yeah, but when there is like subjects like logical thinking, where logical thinking is applied, or some complex subjects, or something like managerial kind of things, management kind of things, then there might be, they will fall short.
Okay.
In
Okay,
that
one
case,
more thing.
Mhm.
I think when I also talked about one thing, and the thing was, what if inflation is something which we studied in 11th and 12th class economics. So what I was trying to what I'm trying to say is, if we try to simplify this concept to such a level that a fifth standard student is able to understand this concept, won't it be fine? I mean, he will be able to understand. It all depends on how we deliver the lecture. It all depends on how we simplify the things.
Yes. Simplification is very important. You are right. And what Chakradhar is saying is also. Yeah. Go ahead.
So this is what I was saying, ki, even if the prefrontal cortex starts developing at the age of 12, which is, I think 7th, 8th students are 12 or 13 years of age only. So they are able to understand. I've applied it to anyone who is below 12 years of age. But if we simplify the things and we try to teach other concepts to students who are below 12 years of age, they will be able to understand, I think.
Yes, that is right.
I just want to
But
say.
yes, as I mentioned, like, if there is a very
But obviously the bigger part is many won't be able to understand.
yes. And again, one more thing, thanks Chakradhar, who added, like, make them believe that they have everything. It's like they have enough knowledge to just they need little guidance, little push to reach the breakthrough. Means like to acquire a certain level of knowledge. So they have enough, just needs to do these simple things, and they are good
Reassurance.
to go. Yeah, reassurance. And stories. Yeah, stories are the things like sharing experience in the form of stories is like it is applicable for all. It's like it is not just for even the kids or the youngsters like to hear the stories. So definitely, but like in means like for the adults, it must be case studies kind of things. They will like to hear about in terms of case studies also. That is why more they feel more like gaining knowledge that way. Okay, to decide the topic that reader would be interested, I took a learning from the brainstorming session I held with our group members. Yeah, it is same thing like it's easier to accept new things. So let them talk about the topic, what they know about it. Before even starting, you can ask them from this, suppose adult learning, what do you think about that? So they might give some inputs or what they think, and we can like immediately give the means like give some add some inputs or like talk in around that only what they told you. Okay, so we'll go to next. This is part of
Can
like
I just add on that, Rahul?
yes, please.
Yeah, I mean that was a key takeaway for me.
Mhm.
I think if you give them a choice, or if you ask them for their expectations for the webinar, they'll be more attentive. As
Yeah.
in they might have given their choice or their their thought process, what they are expecting out of the webinar, and that might actually increase their attention span. So that is
Yeah.
a very good point. Yeah,
Yes,
and
yes.
we need to implement that as well.
And the point, yes, this is my own experience. I've taught like up to the professors also and the students also. So maybe around 100 to 100 students as of now. I ask about their opinion about certain subject. They come with the blank. They do not speak. Any of them is like I'm talking in last 2 years. I always ask for their opinions or their views, and they just stay blank. Maybe I have not came across the right student, but this is my experience. And whenever I ask to the adults, like I said, I taught with to the professors also. Some were HOD of the colleges, but obviously I taught them the digital manufacturing related things. And whenever I just throw some like some questions or so ask them for opinion, they come up with some, like they talk something, they give some ideas or something like that. So that is the difference with the adults and the like generally kids. That is the difference there always. So they have something, so knowledge base is always shows you in while dealing with them. Okay, so next one is like learning methods. There might be there are learning types or there are a lot of things there, but this is just one basic difference about active and passive. So as I initially said, there is many times the students are like passive recipients. They is like they just acquire whatever coming to them. They just with little questioning or little processing, they just get it, try to mug up it. So that is the difference, like passive learning, read, listen, and observe. That is a method of learning. And there is another method is active learning, which is participation, asking questions or asking for opinions or giving opinions. There might be class activities. So we can go with the active learning, which is more suitable for adults. It is suitable for kids also, but you will not gain much from asking question, asking opinion. So this is more like good with adults, where you can ask for the questions and all that. Activities, yeah, activities might be applicable for both the classes, but uh, that will add fun for the adults. uh, Hands-on experiences, we talked about that. Presentations, proper presentations, if we are giving them, then that will add, means like give them clarity about the subject. Okay, these are learning methods for the adults. Yes, this is one important thing, and we can design our content around that. So I will leave first, we'll discuss later, but current or most of the webinars happens like a trainer to participant. Trainer talks, give the ideas, give the information, and participant receive it. So there is might be presentation. Trainer guides the discussion within the training, and like that means like he gives the some inputs according to that trainer's act, and he highlights and reinforces objective. So that is one part. That is how there might be the exchanges. Participant to participant, we discuss about like taking them into the breakout room or something like group discussion, and that way they will exchange some ideas with other and each other, and they will come with some data, and we can do the class activities like within them. And experiences means like doing some certain job together, hands-on experiences. So this is one part. That is the learning exchanges. And third is the participant to trainer. This is rarely happen, like participant giving some answers, some questions, some opinions. So in our content we can add all of these things. This is best way. And like I have seen means whatever webinars in like a lockdown, I attended almost 100 plus webinars, and in that like most of the time like do the like it is 75% trainer to participant, but the best one which I attended, there is like around 50% is trainer to participant interaction. Then there is like 15 to 20% is like participant to participant. They give the importance to that. Let them discuss, let them come with the ideas, interact with each other. That is best experience, and you are experiencing that in like HNP. Yes, most of people here are HNP member also. Aditya sir is there with us, so he has now the main part of that. So in HNP also they do the breakout room most of the time. It is more than 50%, I guess. Is that right? So yeah, so they do the.
Especially with adults, participant to participant have got more learning value, because most of us do already have knowledge of that particular subject, and when you're exchanging ideas, you get better results.
Yes. That's what means. Like while designing your course or your like webinar, try to implement these things, especially for adults. Mostly our audience is adult, I know. So in that case, try to bring this like trainer to participant. If it's your webinar, then it's more than 50%, 50 to 60%. You can keep it. Add participant to participant. I was thinking about that, but we already have less time. And participant to trainer. This is only be productive with the adult learners anyway. You cannot expect much from the kids anyway. But we can add that too. Like many webinars allow about question and answer session. But apart from question and answer session, you can ask about the opinions, or the after one section you can ask their opinions, which I'm trying in this session also. So yeah, that is the best thing. So you can design this way for adults in our general webinars, I will say. Next, very little part is there. It's KISS principle. So keep it simple. So in that, what I wanted to say is like for adults especially, do not include too much of technology. Means like copy this code, open this web page, and then copy the code, go to that web page, and then press there, and then open, and there's all those things. That instead of engaging them, sometimes we may disengage them. This is my experience. So this might happen. So they will try to go away from that, or try to avoid that. This is good with the kids or the youngsters. They are very good with the technology anyway. They can easily do whatever you tell about the technology. But especially with adults, I'm not saying don't use technology or some like websites or some activities. Activities are important, but not too complex. Okay, so keep it simple. This is simply means like regarding the webinars. If there is a series of webinars, capture the learnings from the previous webinar sessions and implement immediately, because adult will means like audience will love to see the change. Review each and every webinar. This you might have heard from Brigadier, who know the Brigadier person also. Like each and every webinar, because you are dealing with the mature audience. Review each and every webinar which you are doing and implement, means like discuss about the changes or improvements needed. And as I said, adults will prefer simple but powerful stuff, means like improved version of your webinar, so they can see the change. And even this activity, reviewing each and every webinar immediately after doing that, even as per Brigadier, even Tony Robbins do this with his team. So if Tony Robbins is doing, we should do that and implement those things. And because we are facing the adult learners, and enunciate your words clearly. Yes, this is why this is important, because that may turn down if you are pronouncing some words very wrong way. Adults who are especially like you are here who are teaching English, and if I go with some wrong word, that will turn her down, and especially when in India, especially when people judge you on the basis of your English vocabulary or knowledge, or especially vocabulary, then it is very important. You should not be there might be like too much focus on pronunciation, but at least you should not go to totally wrong. If required, ask for the right word or right pronunciation to some expert. Like for this session, I have done that. I was not very sure what is Androgogy and Pedagogy. It's like whether I'm pronouncing it in correct way. So I literally Googled it. So that is very important. Otherwise, it will go wrong. Okay. So this is keeping it simple. So these are some points we should remember about with and to make our webinars more effective. This is the last part about delivery skills. So you are facing very mature audience. So don't pretend to know all the answers. No, not necessary. Sometimes you don't know anything. Some points you might be knowing, because they will come some critical questions definitely, and you might be not aware about that. So just say, I will come with the answers and I will let you know about that, but do come with the answer. That is very important. That is your authenticity, or your like they can believe in you. So so if you don't know something, discuss the question, or you can ask some more question to get clarity, and that way you can give them the feedback about that. Recognize your strengths and weaknesses. This is again important in terms of adults, especially, and that way you can design your content. Don't miss like maximize your strength. If you are good in like suppose numbers you are giving, then that is good. Means like give the numbers that will give some like the confidence on you or your content. And if you are not good with suppose graphs and all those things, just avoid. If you are not explaining it well, that will send a wrong message. So, and especially again, this is like adults are very good with the finding faults. So you need to take care of that. So this is almost last part, and again, I'm just giving you the review of what we learned. We started with why. We just touched the origin and history. I especially give some more stress on why part, which I always do. Third thing, we discussed about principles, then things to keep in mind. We gone through that. Motivation, we talked about intrinsic motivation, which like inner motivation, you can say. Sorry, things to keep in mind is repeated. And then we in the end we discussed about learning methods, exchanges, and delivery skills. So this is all about LL learning. I think it is exactly 1 hour, and I finish within time. So, is there any questions or any inputs from
Kudos
the?
for your time management, first of all.
Yeah.
Great work.
Okay. Thank you for that. And any addition or any questions? Sri Devi ji, especially.
No, if you can we stop the recording and then we can talk?
Okay. Yeah.
I
No
mean,
worries. But that's okay. Means like your questions are valuable, whatever it is. Maybe I cannot answer. I will come up with them later. But means like you can talk about on the recording also. But if you want,
see,
I
we
can.
are discussing. Actually, it's fine with me.